QR code is live. You can send in your messages through that particular platform. Scan on your phone or your device, and it's quite easy. Just go there and put in your feedback, and we'll get it right here. At the end of the conversation or in the course of it, we shall be able to display the poll and the graph to show exactly what you said and how many of you said this, that, or the other. Now, before we went on break, our speaker from Kisumu County was making a point, just in response to some of the things that was mentioned. But I'd like to bring in, let the tyranny of speakers speak. We have yet another speaker with us this evening. Joining us from the great county of Kitui, we have Honorable Kevin Kinengo. Karibu sana.
Victor, I don't want me to complete debunking his statement.
Not a problem. You're coming to you. I just needed the speakers to align. It's like Avengers, unite.
Okay.
so Honorable Kinengo, just a quick one. Do you agree with the sentiments that the county governments are struggling, particularly MCAs, are struggling with the oversight matter? Is that the same case with you in Kitui?
First of all, Bwana Victor, thank you very much for having me.
Karibu sana, it's an honor.
As you have said, my name is Kevin Kinengo,
Yes,
Katisia. So for purpose of differentiating myself from Kevin Osido,
Yes.
use my second name,
We'll
Kinengo.
say Mr. Kinengo, Honorable Kinengo.
Mr. Kinengo
Yes.
is okay. And good evening to you and all our viewers. And it's a pleasure to be hosted at TV47.
Karibu.
Mine is to fully agree with my colleagues that it is true that county assemblies countrywide are struggling to oversight the county executives. That is the truth. If somebody says otherwise, they are lying. Now we have to say the truth. Because the reason why you have seen that many county assemblies are not even able to effectively oversight the county executive is what my sister Joyce said, capacity. Deliberately, the Council of Governors, and I'll say this without fear of any contradiction, it's like they conspire to weaken the county assemblies. And it is the wish of any governor to have a weak county assembly.
Really?
Who wants to be supervised?
That's
Nobody in this country wants to be supervised.
Right.
People want to do their own things. And the governors will say, I was elected. I can do anything I want to do. But look at the Constitution, Bwana Victor. I am a lawyer by profession. And if you look at Article 174 and 175 of our Constitution, the objects and the principles of devolution of devolved government, how I wish they could be achieved. Self-governance, people to make their own decision, people to govern themselves. I have worked in Makueni before, in the previous regime of Professor Kifota Kibwana. I was the political advisor to the governor.
Right.
And I have seen effective public participation in Makueni. And I can attest to that because I used to work with the governor. Many county governments, Bwana Victor,
Yes.
that is not done.
I see.
What they do is private public participation.
Is that so?
Not the real
Not
public participation.
but private.
And for us to achieve, and I fully agree with the former Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, that primary oversight belongs to the county assemblies.
Okay.
But deliberately, senators have taken the primary oversight role.
I see.
Senators are supposed to do secondary oversight. They are supposed to oversight or deliberate the reports, the resolutions of the county assemblies. But senators will come up, and that's why, of course, they want to put the oversight fund. They want to come to Kitui, go to Kisumu, go to every other county and do primary oversight.
But
that is killing county assemblies.
If a vacuum exists, would you blame them from wanting to step in? Now,
allow me, Victor.
There's no vacuum.
Allow me 1 minute.
Your fellow speaker,
Allow me 1 minute.
Honorable Oraro.
I agree with you, but partially,
Yes.
I don't agree that there is lack of capacity in the county assemblies to do oversight. Reason being, the only difference between legislators is where you are elected.
Exactly.
Because remember, we have the parliament, the senate, and the county assemblies. All these people have capacities. We have seen members of county assembly who have been elected as parliamentarians in the national parliament. And they are doing very good, including the governor of Muranga, Irungu Kangata, was a councillor. And at one time he was a senator. And now he's the governor. So are you going to say that it's not effective? It is only the difference in terms of where you are elected. They have capacity. So it's all about maximizing the capacity. Now, I agree with him on the issue of trying to weaken the county assemblies, but that is local. He's just given an example of Makueni, and he's given a very good example of public participation. So that's a success story in Makueni. And it involves both the county assembly and the executive. So I'll go back to what I said.
Yes.
Putting up good and strong legal and institutional frameworks that relates to governance. Then it doesn't matter who is brought in as an MCA. It doesn't matter who is brought in as a governor or a county executive committee member. So it's about institutional frameworks and legal frameworks.
About the institutional frameworks, and I want to bring in some of the other speakers as well. Well, speakers in terms of people who are going to speak, not honorable speakers. It's been over a decade of devolution. We've had, this was the 9th, I believe, conference of devolution. Why are these frameworks so difficult to not just institute, but even to be supported and to function properly? What's the missing link? What are we not seeing here? All this time down the road, are we still suffering from teething pains or growing pains or birthing pains, so to speak?
Not so. The example has been given about issues of resources. Remember, only 15% of the national revenue goes to the counties. But in actual sense, it's not 15%, because it's based on the last audited accounts. So if you work it out, it's normally around 10% or 11%. So ask yourself, what happens to the remaining 85% at the national level? Why are we not talking about oversight at the national level? Because we are talking about 85% of the budget remaining at national level, and those items or projects or any activity done should be at the ward, not even should be, but every activity that is done is at a ward level. So the local mwananchi should be able to feel the effect of the national government and the effect of the county government at the local level. But I know most attention has been given to the county government. But you are asking a very good question. I've referred to about the legal frameworks, and now it's 13 years or 12 years after the onset of the. It's a new concept. And remember, there are procedures in the manner in which frameworks are made. We must have a policy first. Then from the policy, you come up with an act as a legal framework. Then there are the regulations that relate to the implementation of those particular frameworks. On the onset of devolution, there was no time to make these policies. Policies take a long time to make. It can take 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, even 20 years to make one policy. So there are those particular acts that were put in place without policies. So as we are moving on is when the counties are putting up policies. Then also, lastly, ask yourself about Schedule 4 on devolved functions. The functions that are supposed by the national government are those that are devolved. They are the functions that were devolved, but money never followed those particular functions. Yet the local mwananchi expect to see results on that particular function. So there is struggle at county levels in ensuring that these ones are effected as per the constitution. Right. So yes, I agree that of recent, the last few days, the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee has worked so hard to ensure that those functions are fully devolved. So the remaining thing is to ensure that funds follow those particular functions.
Right. Now, I want to bring in Honorable Shehe from Tana River. This is Honorable Abdul Hakim Shehe from Tana River. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Now, I want you to speak to something that I believe is quite unique to your county. For counties which are, for lack of a better word, struggling with fragile economies, did Homa Bay deliver any actionable solutions or inspirations, or just more theory, perhaps?
Yes, for sure. First, thank you, Victor, for giving me this opportunity to attend today's interview.
We are honored.
This is my first time actually to be at TV 47.
Let's hope it's not your last.
Yeah, sure.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then, yes, coming straight to your question, you know, I come from a county that is very diverse when it comes to different measurements. First is one of the largest counties in Kenya. Two, it has been a very marginalized county for quite some time. But speaking about devolution and the recurrent about devolution, and this rotates all in Article 174 about the principles and objectives of devolution. Indeed, devolution is working. I want to disagree with Dismas when he said devolution. He doesn't see anything that devolution is, what devolution is doing, maybe from his county, but from my county.
He actually mentioned his county as one of the top performers. We'll come back to that.
Yes. I hope I'll get a right reply.
Yes. But just hold on this first. So, devolution, if you try to look at it, I mean, sometimes I even miss some words on how to explain how the important the devolution is. So in Homa Bay, this current devolution conference, I must say was a nice one, because all cadres of the community were invited only, apart from Dismas, because he said that he was not invited. But yes, achievement is there. One and big achievement that personally I've been able to see, and I really appreciate, is the autonomy that the president signed to the county assemblies. Oversight is a process, and looking upon the functions of the county assemblies and the national assemblies, there is no different functions, because the functions of the three houses, I mean the two level houses, is just representation, oversight, and legislation, both of them. So there was that point that came through that the MCAs doesn't have capacity.
Capacity and competence.
I think that is not true.
Why?
And I will not agree in that. Maybe it's artificial in terms of trying to, like the way this Public Finance Management Act was done. Some of these things are just artificial. It's very unfortunate, Victor, that up to this point, up to this time, people think that MCA are still councillors. And actually, I think you may had so many MCAs being called councillors. And, that is a very unfortunate, unfortunate thing. And it's bringing a lot of changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the things you mentioned, and the other things that were mentioned in this room, was the performance of the county of Murang'a. Apparently, one of the shining lights at Homa Bay. Honorable Jeremiah Gishobe is an MCA from Murang'a County. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, sir.
How are things in Murang'a?
Murang'a is great.
Why are
and
you
I'm
guys
sure
shining?
you saw that in the devolution conference.
Tell us why. Tell Kenyans why. What are you guys doing different that's making you rank high in pretty much all the metrics that are out there? What's different?
Interestingly,
yes.
Before I even begin, Murang'a County was deliberately omitted from the speech of my brother Didmas Mukua.
No.
You know. I
did mention
the whole country. For some reason, the whole country, including you.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
On that point, do you have any grudge against Murang'a County?
No. Governor Irungu Kangata has done extremely well, and one would easily say that he is the yardstick for success. I mean, you would say that his work is ISO certified. Now, and I don't expect to be given red roses from MCAs and speakers because of what I've said. But so some of the speakers, sorry for eating your time, some of the speakers have said that devolution has worked and devolution has been a huge success.
Okay,
of course, it's been in some counties, but who defines success of devolution? Is it the governors who've been impeached on account of stealing Mora's tax resources? Is it governors working in cahoots with MCAs to allocate themselves public resources? Is it governors and MCAs deliberately ensuring that there is no resources for capital expenditure and everything goes to recurrent expenditure? Is it MCAs and governors who ensure that everybody employed in their local counties, everybody comes from that community? Is it governors and county assemblies who ensure that healthcare professionals are not paid on time? So how do we define success?
All right.
Those are the metrics you must look at. But for my friend from Murang'a, I must say,
yes,
there are yardstick for success.
Excellent.
But Victor,
Honorable
Victor,
Gishobe.
Victor,
Honorable, just a second.
Victor, before he goes,
Hold on.
when you talk about Muranga as having been successful,
Muranga hasn't spoken.
no,
Allow them
but on him,
We'll come back to
how can it be successful with the governor alone and not the MCA?
Order.
All right, all right. All right.
Member from Kisumu.
Honorable Speaker, I know what you normally do is order. Honorable Gishobe, can you respond to this salvo?
You know,
First of all, why is Muranga doing so well?
very well, very well. You know, before Didmas came in,
Dismas.
Dismas and decided to eat into my time and apologize. And I hope I'm able to do that in the second round of our,
Right.
of our contribution.
Yes, please.
You see, I wanted just on a very light note maybe to say that I suspected that his comments about Kiambu County and the Kisii County, because he accused MCAs of maybe receiving phone calls on what to say on this show. And I was wondering, now that he didn't mention Muranga, yet it was a light on top of a mountain for the whole Kenya to see, and it was omitted in his speech. And then I wanted to ask whether maybe he has received something from Kiambu and Kisii
To mention.
to mention them on this show. That is
Apparently, the matter of corruption is going round.
but
Why? Why are you guys doing so well?
Muranga County is among the counties that are doing very well.
Why?
Across the country. And it is basically because of one thing, leadership. Because there is really no perfect system in this country. There is really no perfect framework, legal framework to ensure that there is no corruption, there is no bad governance. At the end of the day, this goes down to the leadership at the county and the national level.
What
And this is
seen,
why.
What have you seen from your vantage point as an MCA in that county assembly, and having interacted with your other colleagues, honourable member from Makueni, from Kitui, from Tana River, from Kisumu, from all these different places, what would you say is the difference between how you guys do things and how the rest of the country does things?
For your information, Muranga County has not been this way since devolution started. This story has begun changing after 2022. What has happened? Muranga County has had a different governor. And this tells you that the leadership of the governor in charge of any county defines the kind of success that the county is going to have and the story that the county is going to have out there.
Allow me to ask you a question on
Yes.
that, please, if you may.
Yes.
Honourable Oraro mentioned something about systems and about institutions within and frameworks that need to be there to ensure that devolution keeps shooting on all cylinders. But I have a question to you. If the change in Muranga merely started after the change in leadership, are you trying to tell Kenyans that they should, if they have, they should give up any hope of any real tangible benefits of devolution if perhaps the leadership isn't there any hope
Absolutely.
for them as to institutions and frameworks
Absolutely.
that would safeguard
Absolutely.
this?
This is my point. You talked of two things
Yes,
when you
please.
were talking about the county assemblies. You talked about the competence and the capacity. Now, about the competence, this I take back to the Wanjiku, the people that elect leaders, because they're the ones that vet their leaders in terms of competence and the kind of leadership they need to represent them and need to manage their resources in terms of the governor and the president, because those are the people with executive power.
Okay.
The competence to oversight, to legislate, that is given to MCAs, senators, and the MPs. It is Wanjiku who does that. So we can agree in terms of competence, it is not up to us. It is up to the voter, because they are the people that vet. In terms of capacity, this is now where we talk about the framework, the legal framework, and the different structures that are there in terms of governance. Now, this is my point, that we will never as a country have a very perfect framework that will ensure that bad leadership does not affect the people. In my view, good leadership scores higher in my scoring, in my personal parameters, scores higher than the system that is there. Because with a good leader, he can still produce good leadership even when there are bad frameworks. But a bad leader, even with a very good framework and a good structure of governance, they will still find a way to mess it up and ensure that the county has not good results. Now, before we came into this studio, we were having a conversation with my colleague somewhere, and I told them it was my assessment and it was my prophecy that after 10, 15 years of devolution, the counties will start now shaping up. And you will see counties that started with good leadership and those that started with bad leadership. And this, I mean, when I talk about leadership, I want mostly to talk about governors. Because when we talk about county assemblies, for sure, unless the framers of this constitution wanted county assemblies to fail, I can confidently say without any fear of contradiction that county assemblies may be now, we have started a journey towards the right direction, but for the last 10 years, county assemblies have not been empowered enough to oversight their executives. Now things were even made worse by the voters because sometimes they also voted in the wrong group of MCAs in terms of competence. Some who don't understand devolution, some who don't understand governance, some who don't even have the requisite education level.
Is that what Honorable Chair was talking about? No difference between...
I was talking about, in that regard, I'm talking about the competence.
Right.
Now, in terms of capacity, the MCAs, the county assemblies, have not been properly capacitated to oversight governance. Let me ask you, for instance, how did the framers of this constitution expect that MCAs were going to oversight governors who actually pay them their salaries? That I can, for instance, give an example about Murang'a County. Before 2022, I can give you an example of a time the County Assembly of Murang'a did not receive a coin from the executive for 3 months. That means the MCA does not have a salary, does not have an allowance, cannot fuel his car or her car to work and back home, and then you expect that person to ask the governor questions. So in terms of capacity, for the first time, maybe with this regime of President Ruto, now that we have signed the autonomy bill into law, now this may change things because county assemblies are going to have their autonomy so that they can be able to ask questions about the affairs of the executive. But there is also another important thing that I should mention.
Yes.
Maybe just give me these guys have really eaten into my time and even apologies. Maybe you can.
Don't you worry.
Right.
As a temporary speaker, I'll protect your privileges. Allow Speaker Kinengo. I saw you note something down as he was making his point. What was it? Please share with Kenyans.
Thank you very much, Victor. And may it go on record that I have spoken the least time.
Is that so?
Because I have a weakness. I don't interrupt people when they are talking.
My goodness.
I like listening and taking notes. I have learned that from Professor Kivuda Kibwana.
Right.
But let me say this.
Yes.
I want to agree with my colleagues, especially the MCAs. No, we have to speak the truth. And I agree with Jeremiah that everything is about leadership. It is true. Yeah. But at the same time, Bwana Victor, and I think I saw a trending video where a lion attacked a dog and it actually killed that dog and ate it. It's like now the MCAs are like the dogs, the governors are like the lions. You expect, and now we are guarding the money for the county. And you expect a dog to compete with a lion.
But are MCAs
everything
as powerless?
Everything, and I'm not calling myself a dog or calling the governors lions, but it's just an example.
Right.
I'm only saying that everything revolves around capacity. And Bwana Victor, I'm here to speak on behalf of all the MCAs of Kenya. Yeah, and that's why you called us through CAF. The truth of the matter is that there needs to be a deliberate effort, by Senate in specific, to empower county assemblies. If the salary of an MCA is a 10th salary of a governor, how do you expect the MCA to have the financial, the muscle to oversight that governor?
But
other MCAs in some counties, but
hold on, I have a question. Just help us to understand this.
Yes.
Because this is the second time in this room the aspect of salary has come up.
Yes.
One from Honourable Member from Makueni. What what significance is the salary, the difference between what an MCA earns and what a governor earns? What significance does that hold to their capability to hold someone to account? That's one. Two, are you telling us, from what we're hearing, it does sound like MCAs are very, very helpless. They are the hapless, weak dog in the face of a brutal and ravaging lion. Is that truly the image that Kenyans should learn? And are they the lions that, Kenyans thought they voted you guys in as lions, as people who are going to fight for their rights? To hear yourselves being described in this manner, I think is rather disheartening for Kenyans. What would you say to that?
Victor, I think, let me just break clear that picture.
Yes, please.
We have seen the MCA being weakened. I started mentioning, mostly it's artificial. I'll just give 2 or 3 examples. One, the first one is the financial autonomy that has already been cured by the president. You expect the MCA to do the oversight to a governor who pays you the salary, who holds the account for your salary, and for your functions, for you to do the oversight. That is one. 2, in a middle of a budget, you have planned whatever things you are supposed to do as your mandates, including that oversight. All of a sudden, I don't know where meeting with who, I don't know it's COG and who, in the middle of a budget utilization, actually it was at the beginning of a budget utilization, a circular came out, there was a budget count, I think it was, maybe the speakers will assist me, it was around
25%.
Yes,
Reduction.
A budget cut of all the 47 county assemblies. I mean, you see, these are the things that whenever MCA tries to brings it up, it seems that the MCA is complaining much. But the truth of matter, the backbone of the devolution remains at the county assemblies.
All right, Honorable Chair, just one moment. Let me bring it. Yes, madam.
Adding into what he's saying.
Yes.
We had a budget cut for the assemblies when we had already budgeted for the whole financial year.
Right.
So you can imagine the finances that we get as county assemblies is only for paying salaries. We do not have development fund as an assembly because it is in the executive. So that are salaries for the staff and the members, and also maybe allowances and things like that. So that has really made county assemblies to suffer. Where I come from today, people have not been paid salary for the last month.
Is that so?
Because of that effect. And then I'm here running up and down to see projects for Mwananchi that has to be implemented by the executive and do my oversight role. I want you to agree with me that the MCAs are at the primary level of leadership. So every person who is affected in your area, they run to the MCA first. Because our MPs are in the parliament in Nairobi. But you are at the ground, it is you they are looking up to. And they will come with their needs for you to help them. From your pocket, again, you see. So there are those challenges that we are trying to say that as MCAs, we are really facing challenges, even as we are trying to do oversight because of, I don't know whether it is artificial as it is putting it,
right,
or deliberate. We might say it is either deliberate or something. Because even if those cuts, the budget, like for us, we were cut 100 million and it was given to the executive.
I see.
You see now again.
Okay.
We are made to suffer as they gain.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Let's hear from Honorable Gishobi. But Osido, as he speaks, I want you to help us understand if there's any recourse, because I can see some of the feedback from the people are saying, oh, if MCAs are also complaining, which way forward? Is there any legal recourse for county assemblies when they suffer such shortfalls that are either, as Honorable Shea is saying, deliberate, artificial or not? Digest on that as we hear from Honorable Gishobi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me back the mic because I felt like I was not able to finish my line of thought.
It's right back to you. Yes,
so
please.
I thought...
Hey, speakers, your job is difficult. With all respect. Yes.
Yeah. So I talked about the issue of salaries and stuff, and I don't really want to overuse my time on that.
Right.
There is a very important elephant in the room that I felt that I need to bring up, and this is the issue of development. You see, the members of parliament today are bashing the president and former prime minister because of the issue of CDF. The reason why they are protecting this baby so much is because whether a member is in the opposition or is supporting the government, they have at least 150 million every year that they take to their constituency. They can be able to use that money to build this class, do this project here, do this project there. Now, for an MCA, it's a different story. Whether a footbridge is built in your ward, whether an ECD class is renovated in your ward, this depends on whether the governor says yes or says no. And therefore, even if we talk about this autonomy of the county assembly in terms of their budget, there is still a very big elephant in the room, and that is about development. Because the current constitution, I call it, it is an avalanche of confusion in my view. Because it brought this whole confusion between the people and the leaders. For instance, if you ask the people from Carriera Ward that I represent, they need water, they need better roads, they need good health care. Who do they ask? The first person that they meet when their road is bad, especially at a time like now when it's raining, it's the MCA. They even go further, my brother. These people, when their children are sent away from schools, when they have hospital bills, the door that they knock is that of the MCA.
True.
So if people really expect to get development from the MCA, in fact, so entitled is Mwananchi to the MCA such that if you fail to pick their calls, then you are in trouble. But those MCAs don't expect the governor to pick their call because they think that the governor is a very big person. But now, my brother, for that bridge or that ECD class to be renovated, it is the governor who is deciding. So again, you are oversighting someone who is holding your political future at hand. Because if that guy doesn't do that road, if that guy doesn't do that ECD class, then trust me, the people will be up against you. And that is why today, my brother, I tell you, the turnover ratio of MCAs, I think it is the highest. It even surpasses that of MPs. And it is because if you're not with the governor, if you don't sing to the tune of the governor, then you're going to go home. That is why, to just help you answer what you asked, maybe the word development fund that the MCAs have been crying about. That is the solution to
I'm coming there.
Victor, before Kevin comes in, he's going to add more.
He will skin me. You're next, actually. Let's hear from you. Is there any legal recourse for the honourable members here and the countless other MCAs across the country who perhaps are suffering from this very scenario that they're describing? Are there any legal options for them?
There might be no legal recourses in terms of the context, how things have been structured. However, the silver lining is in the CAFA, the County Assembly's Financial Autonomy Act that the President signed, so that what we see happening right now is a manner in which, the resources, the financial resources that counties receive, contrary to or as opposed to what happens at the national government, where each ministry has a clear budget that is put, counties receive a lump sum. So it is for you to sit as a county and decide that this amount of money will go into this sector, this amount of money will go into, and that is how county assemblies receive their monies from the county executives. Now, probably the recourse that might be there is in what is called the CIDP, the County Integrated Development Plan, which the MCAs know very well about, and that part of what they have to do there is undertake public participation. Beyond the CIDP, Victor.
Not the private participation that
No. Right. Beyond the CIDP, we have what is called the ADP, the Annual Development Plan. Beyond that, we have what is called the supplementary. We must not lose sight of what the roles of the MCAs are. And I feel very sad, especially for our members of county assemblies, based on the stories that are here, and they are true. Because once in a while, or Occasionally we go to counties, we undertake induction trainings, we do research, we share reports, and we sit with them.
So you've seen this?
We have seen this. What must be done is to not necessarily build the capacity of members, but to strengthen institutional engagement of the assembly.
I see.
Because if we build your capacity today, tomorrow you might not be elected. What we must do, Victor, is to build the institutional capacity of the assemblies. What must we do about that? Remember, members don't work in silos or in a vacuum. Behind them are technical experts called clerks.
I am happy that he's agreeing with my point.
we have clerks who sit behind these members.
Right.
But the most disheartening thing that we see, Victor, is that members don't arise to the occasion on the floor of the House.
Why is that?
To raise concerns. They have talked about it, fear. Some of them get delisted. You are a member of Pick and Pack chair, or you are in the speaker's panel, a member of the speaker's panel, or you are a majority leader of a political party. You go and say, huyu anatupinga kwa assembly, unatolewa. They are suffering. In some counties, you're even told you will never see development coming to your ward. And that is what he is sharing, that your next election is actually threatened because programs or projects will not come to your ward. But if we can be able to strengthen the institutional mechanisms of the assembly, so that we say, for example, what must we do to empower them to exercise their oversight role? And it is very simple, and we have told some of them in the past. Let us exercise what is called basically ensuring that executive does its works, the principle of separation of powers. And the governors also know that we have people who have been brought before the House to oversight, to legislate, and to represent the people. What we see happening today is not really what county assemblies are supposed to be doing,
right,
because of the fear of either being victimized or being disillusioned into development, among others. But therefore, what must we do to strengthen the institutional capacity of the county assemblies? Build their capacity in terms of the technical expert. And I think that Dismas asked a very paramount question when we began. How many of them can be able to relate to the control of budget reports? That has also been engaged or has been, dispensed somewhere within the COG. And if you talk about capacity of members, it doesn't have to be for county assemblies. A member must be willing to sit back and read so that you're able to speak in English, you're able to speak in Swahili, you're able to bring up a point. Actually, and that is why partly, Victor, some members will be of the view that disband county assemblies because they don't represent us, they don't make laws, they can't even express themselves. And that is really the difference between what you see happening in other counties. And I'll bear witness that each county here has something good about them. Muranga is being over profiled because they have done something unique in what we call in devolution enhancement of on-source revenue. Because Governor Kangata has actually understood that for me to be able to enhance my on-source revenue, I must digitize the systems.
Right.
But he can't digitize the systems if there is no law. The people who will make that law are the members of county assembly.
We already did that.
That's what I'm saying, that the governor cannot enhance on-source revenue if there is no law.
All right.
And there can be no law, Victor, if the MCAs don't pass that law. So if governors, just a minute, if governors can be able to understand that all these systems of government are autonomous but interdependent.
Right.
So you stifle your MCAs, but you lose because they will pass. So counties that cannot be able to do what, for example, Governor Kangata did, might not have the laws. We have counties like Nairobi that are struggling. People struggle to pay, parking.
Right.
You can't do it. People struggle to do business permits. Kangata showed us that you can actually do it online. Why can't we get cities and very promising counties do the same? If you go to Tana River, they've done very well on municipality boards, especially putting the structures of municipalities and much more fundamentally, juxtaposing that with the degree of insecurity and the context of governance. So if you were to look at each of these counties, go to Kitui and their value addition for mangoes and the juice and all that. You go to Kisumu and their blue economy and the kind of even laws and frameworks that have been put by Governor Nyong'o, So each of these counties have something unique, but that uniqueness, Victor, cannot come out if there is too much war.
I see.
And that is why, as I finish, if you notice what the president did in Migori is something that we have been asking Nyanza governors and leaders of Nyanza to sit together and speak, discuss concerns. Governor Akaina, MCS, let's discuss our issues jointly as opposed to fighting. And we are hoping that in the next 2 years, 3 years, we are going to begin to see revamped devolution stories, particularly around service delivery and the benefits that citizens can be able to accrue from devolution. So leadership, which I think one of them spoke about, is very, very important.
Okay.
Because MCS have a role to play, which governors cannot benefit from if the MCS don't do their work. And if MCS can do a good job and governors feel that they are benefiting because MCS are doing their work, then why do you want to stifle their financial support?
Let me add,
that's a lot of
add
ifs.
something, just
Yes,
a minute
please.
before he comes.
Yes.
On what Kevin has said.
Yes.
On the issue of the assembly and the executive working together. In the public eyes, it will be seen like the assembly is in bed with the executive. But I can assure you that anytime there is conflict between the assembly and the executive, nothing goes on. So there must be a way of consultation between the executive and the assembly. And we agree that for the success of any governor depends on the assembly.
All right.
Number two, when you talk about ALSO's revenue, it's also a factor that is affecting most counties.
Yeah.
Which county has ever achieved the target? With the World Bank studies on potential for counties in terms of ALSO's revenue, there is huge amount that can be collected from the ALSO's revenue. But no county ever meets the target. But remember, when budgeting is being done, the ALSO's revenue becomes part of what is budgeted for. And by the time you fail to achieve your target, it means there is going to be pending bill, or there are going to be projects that are not going to be implemented. And there comes the cry of the public. But ask yourself, where is the role of the civil society in the issue of ALSO's revenue? They play a very good role because they have been out there carrying out civic education to the public. But apart from the rights, the chapter 4 of the Constitution, that gives about rights, the right to education, the right to clean water, the right to good roads. Are we also talking to the public about obligations?
All right.
You must be obligated to do some activities, like, for example, paying levies and charges so that there is enough money to do these activities.
Tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
That is it.
Just for the record.
I want to
Just for the record.
Hold on, member. Hold on.
Just for the record,
what
Speaker.
Jeremiah said.
Just one
And
moment.
maybe I can apologize to Dismas for eating into his time. I finally got the opportunity to just a
walked into
minute,
this.
Dismas. I want to apologize to Dismas like he did for eating into my time. But in 2 seconds.
Yes, please.
Just for the record, Murang'a County has exceeded their target in every year since Governor Kangata came.
For
into
own-source
power.
revenue.
For own-source revenue.
All
In
right.
fact, in the first year, we doubled
All
our
right.
revenue from 530 to 1.1.
How did you do that?
Through digitizing.
I see.
And
All right.
now this year,
Uh-huh.
we came from 1.1 to 1.3.
Well done. Well done. Now,
Just for the record.
Yeah, I wanted to come in
Yes.
from where Jeremiah had left earlier on.
yes, please.
He spoke about leadership, that the prior administration in
You
Murang'a,
have 2 minutes, sir.
did not achieve results as anticipated, and he spoke about leadership. That is the reason why Murang'a must go for meritocratic leadership. And you remember we've said times above number that outside capacity and competence, we need character. You recall when President Mwai Kibaki took office, with the then old constitution, he delivered value. And people said, wait a minute, how can President Kibaki deliver value with this constitution? So in fact, the problem was not even the constitution. It was about the character. So it's incumbent on Murang'a, Wanjiku, and Atieno
The 3 Cs.
to look at the 3 Cs, to look at the character of the people they're electing to office. And this example of Murang'a stands tall, that when you've got a governor who has character, who embraces meritocratic leadership, then you see the outcome. Number 2, Kevin has raised a fundamental point. I've had the misfortune of interacting with elected leaders, MCAs, members of the National Assembly and Senate, who have no capacity to socialize with the Auditor General's reports. They don't know the difference between a qualified report and qualified adverse opinion. So even when you're having a conversation with them and the Auditor General has presented a report and you're trying to see what is going on here, they're not able to answer. And I see one of the members here giggling. But it's not just limited to elected leaders, even some public servants of rank. when Mbadi was still in the National Assembly, it took time to educate people on what that means.
Yes.
So it's important to have that capacity building so that when the Auditor General, when the ESCC, or even when the Control of Budgets issue a report, people have got capacity to read and understand. And that is why that capacity building is so important. And I would even suggest that maybe Strathmore University comes up with a program on this so that, you know, when the Auditor General does those reports, then people are able to interact. Now, finally, because you gave me 2 minutes.
Yes, please.
I remember he has erroneously stated that I've said devolution has not been a success. Devolution has been a huge success, but we must look at the parameters. If we've achieved a certain level of success with these levels of inefficiency, where you have governors working in cahoots with the public service boards, where there's a lot of nepotism, can you imagine how much progress we would have made if county governments were effective and efficient and answerable? Not to the governor. I remember he has confessed that sometimes in the county assemblies they fear making contributions because the governor may check in. You know, there's a governor phobia. Can you imagine how much progress would make if all elected leaders in Kenya, MCAs, members of the National Assembly and Senate, were loyal to Murah. They were loyal to the voter. They were loyal to the Kenyans.
Fair enough.
Would have made a lot of progress.
Thank you. That's a really good point. Now, honourable members and our analysts here, I'm informed by our team that we are just about to run out of time. Now, clearly the subject is bigger than our time. However, with the time that is left, I would like to, as well as I can, to equally share the time among the speakers that are left. Now, each of you will have a minute, and just a minute, and I'm afraid I will stop you if it exceeds that time. Each of you will have a minute. I would like you to talk to Kenyans directly. We've talked about some things that affect them. We've talked about some technical things. We've talked about things that affect you. I want you to talk to Kenyans who are looking at you as their representatives, as the bearers of the hopes and dreams of all that they believe in from the county level. I want you to speak to them, talk to them about devolution, and talk to them about whether you believe this system still holds the opportunity to change their lives. That is a challenge I'm putting out, and I'm giving it 1 minute at a time. And we'll start with the only lady on the panel. They say ladies first, men before, but we'll stick at ladies first. Honorable Fumakwena. This is your camera. The people are watching. A minute starts now.
I want to speak to our Kenyans that on August 4th, 2010, they went to vote for devolution. Let's support the leadership of the county governments, and I'm sure it is going to serve you very well, because that is only the place where governance is being brought down to Wanjiko. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we'll go to Honorable Shehe from Tana River. Your minute starts now. Thank you for being efficient.
Thank you so much. My last comment is very simple, that devolution is the best tool that we have. As Kenyans, or in legal way, it's high time we strengthen the institutions. Just as the way Kevin said, we must strengthen the institutions. And the best approach to do this, strengthen county assemblies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for your efficiency. Next, our member from Muranga, Honorable Gishobi, your minute starts now. The people are watching.
All right. I'd like to speak to Kenyans and tell them, when the opportunity comes, voting good MCAs, voting good governors. Woe unto you if in your county you vote in the wrong governor and the wrong MCA, because those are the closest leaders to you. And no matter what happens in Nairobi, devolution came so that we can all be equal, so that the person in Mandera can have resources as the person in Bungoma and as the person in Kirinyaga. Make sure you vote for good mashinani leaders. Yes, there are challenges to this form of governance, but as time goes by, we will work on it. But because leadership is the most important thing, let us ensure that we vote in good mashinani leaders.
All right, you slightly exceeded your time, but thank you very much. Good message. Elect the right leaders. The Honourable Speaker from Kitui County, Honourable Kinengo, your minute starts now. Please, the people are watching.
Thank you very much, Victor. Mine is to say that Devolution is working, but it can work better with good collaboration between the county assemblies and the county executives. If you look at the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 176, which says that there shall be a county government comprised of the county assembly and the county executive, it means the two must work hand in hand. So I want to call upon our leaders, the MCAs and the governors, let them embrace collaboration and work it together. Secondly, the national government, if you look at our Constitution, Article 6, Sub-Article 2, and Article 189, there must be consultation, cooperation, collaboration between the county governments and the national government. And that is exactly what happened in Homa Bay. The national government must deliberately support the county government. And lastly, I want to call upon our people. This is time for development. This is time for work. Let's avoid early politics. The governor who is in office should be supported to work. Okay. The MCA who is in office should be supported to work. Okay. Come 2027, as Honorable Jeremiah said, people will make a choice whether to re-elect or to elect new leaders. But above all, we must ensure that we have good leaders in our counties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Raro, your people are watching.
Number one, I want to say to the people of Kenya that the future of the country is devolution. So we must give it support. Then I want to appeal to different stakeholders, the civil society, the government, and all other stakeholders, that we need to enhance civic education to people for them to understand what actually devolution is. I say this because many people still do not understand the real context of devolution in terms of the roles and responsibilities of different stakeholders, including the Senate, the Parliament, the Executive, and the Assembly.
Right.
And lastly, I want to appeal to the Commission of Revenue Allocation and the Senate, that let's consider putting funds on public participation at the county level.
Right.
Public participation is a matter that is in the Constitution and should be given the maximum resources that it has. Then to the MCS who are listening to us and seeing us, please, it is your time. Ensure that you develop legal frameworks.
Thank you.
And develop institutional capacities at the counties, for that is what you'll be counted for.
Thank you.
When you leave the office in 2027.
Thank you. Well said. Osido, please, a minute. Speak to the Kenyans.
Fellow Kenyans, the Constitution of Kenya has given you that sovereignty, and you have surrendered it to your elected leaders. The question that begs is, what is your expectation from the leaders? That Constitution gives you rights and also obligations. As you demand your rights from your elected leaders, what therefore is your obligation? What must you do to your county to make it better? The same Constitution has given you that power to exercise accountability and also to self-audit your counties. Never sit back, to raise your voices, to ask the critical questions, and to demand for answers, because people like Kevin Osido, institutions like County Governance Watch will protect you. Never fear to demand for accountability.
Thank you.
Finally, for those who are facing their by-elections, the dates have been given out. What kind of leader do you want? You want somebody who will not give you the rights or take away your rights and not allow you room to exercise your obligation?
Thank you.
The answer to that is in your hands.
Thank you. Thank you. Very powerful. And last but not least, Mr. Mukua, your minute starts now.
Victor, thanks for creating this opportunity. But Kenyan citizens, partners, and stakeholders must immunize devolution from impunity, mediocrity, and corruption. If we don't do that, then devolution would be a successful failure, number one. Number two, county governments and county assemblies must now look for benchmarking opportunities outside the normal trips to Dubai or South Africa. They must attend conferences like AI conferences, which will give them capacity to ensure that the county assemblies and county governments are efficient and effective. There is evidence that if you use artificial intelligence, you'll make public service or public sector delivery effective and efficient. So instead of jumping from one town in Nairobi to another in the name of benchmarking or they are holding hands, they need to go to seminars which add value to Mura and Wanjiku.
Okay. Thank you very much. Buena producer, if you can put the results of the poll on the screen for Kenyans to see exactly what they voted for, it would be wonderful. Allow me to thank you first, the viewers. Thank you for giving us your eyes and ears tonight for this very important subject. Asanteni sana for paying attention to this conversation. I can see people like Sandra Aliviza and a few other people are watching us from across the country of Kenya. Asante sana. Clearly, the answer is 85% of you have said no to the question that we asked and 15% have said yes. You'll see that at the bottom of your screen as we speak. And now let me thank our very honorable members and thank you very much for the people who've brought in the insight. Asanteni sana for sparing your time, your intellect, your insight, and even to debate on this matter. I believe the time that we've spent on this has been instrumental in the pushing forward of the concept of devolution. Asanteni sana. As you go home, please make sure you big up yourselves. You've done a good job. Asanteni. Good people of Kenya, my name is Victor Moyakane. I wish you a good night full of God's blessings. And God bless Kenya. Good night.